Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, just continuing Nicola's route, and we are chilling out here. Anyway, me, what the hell did I do yesterday? Don't even remember. It's been a rough few days. So, anyway, later that night, we were enjoying drinks in the living room after dinner when Dante spoke. Oh, right, Dante got out of jail. I've come to my decision. Right, Teo told us all that shit. Mm-hmm. Even so, when we cannot abandon our mission, it's here in Berlin as it always has been. As it has always been, sorry. I suppose the relic is gone. Maybe there's no longer a mission to uphold. Would you leave Berlin then, Dante? I'm kind of curious about this because I feel like in all the other routes, like, everything was similar. Gil was, like, packing up to go to Chicago. Yang, well, he's dead in this one, but, like, well, not really. I don't think he is, but you know what I mean? Like, theoretically, he's supposed to be dead, so, like, it's not like the Lao Shu's going to London, but that was, like, where they were going to go kind of a thing. You know? And you didn't really know that in Gil or Orlok's routes, because I feel like Yang would have been like, I'm not telling you any of my shit, but that's always the overhead, you know what I mean? But I feel like in all the other ones, there was never any, like, Dante and Nicola in the foul zone are piecing out of Berlin. Were there? I think there was. So it'd be really weird if Dante was like, yeah, let's leave. What? So, Anyway. Something in the air signaled that this discussion would determine the future of the family. If you'll excuse me, I'll be in my room. What? Excuse me? What girl? I stood and walked past Nicola to give them some privacy when Nicola whispered, I'll come see you later. A smile crept across my face as I nodded. You're like, okay. Yeah. Back in my room, I pored over a book to pass the time and wait for Nicola. It's me. Can I come in? Yes, please do. The door opened and Nicola stepped inside. I closed my book and got up from the chair to greet him. Nicholas smiled lovingly as I approached and gently received me in his arms. Dante and I had a chat. I think I know what needs to be done now. To be honest, I couldn't care less about our mission as the Keepers of the Grave, but somehow in that, I managed to find a mission of my own. To protect me? And love me? Love me? Say, Space, do you trust me? No. Of course I do. I mean, sure, but like, no at the same time. Nicola gave a bitter chuckle with his eyes downcast for a moment. Then he looked up at me again. Thank you. It's amazing how you can still trust a liar like me. Both now and in the future. I didn't say I trust you in the future! Because you're here beside me, I can keep moving forward, no matter what. I could hear the resolve in Nicola's voice. It's kind of like, yes, I know you've lied and whatever, but don't keep calling yourself a liar. You call your, like, I'm a liar like me, the liar, me, I'm the liar king, and all that. You keep saying that, and it's gonna make me go, you know, maybe I shouldn't trust you. You know? Like, he keeps harping on it. He said it an awful lot, and I feel like, you know, sweetie, stop waving the red flags, put them down. Stop. And sometimes white lies, like not telling me certain things before you figure them out because you don't want to upset me or stress me out, is perfectly fine. Like, this is going to stress you out. I'm going to figure this shit out before I'm going to have all the facts before I tell you. You know? Because then you're like, oh, so there was this thing, and if I had told you when I found out, you would have flipped your fucking lid. It would have been goddamn awful. But I found out it's actually bullshit, so, like, we're cool. You know? I'm just saying. Get the facts straight before you, like, blow up all my shit. So, yeah, sometimes, but that's not lying. That's like, listen, I have something I need to tell you, but I don't want to tell you yet. I need to get all the facts straight. Cool. You know, sure. But again, he just has to keep waving that flag that he's a liar, and it's like, it's not helping your case, sweet cheeks. Put it down. At the same time, the words he spoke were as warm and loving as I always knew him to be. I felt reassured that things would be all right. He just doesn't think he deserves us loving him. Is that it? That's fine, sweetie. It's okay. That's enough. The way they've written this route, though. Again, I gotta be honest. There's no spark here. We've had moments, but I feel like people who maybe were like, I wasn't into Nicola. I can kind of feel what you're feeling in this route for some reason. And it's like, and I love Nicola. He's beautiful. So he's one of my favorite eye candies, you know, for that reason. But for some reason, it's just in this route, I'm just like, you're just not. It's disappointing me. Again, the plot is great. But, you know, I don't feel the spark for Nicola, and I think that makes me sad. If I wasn't like... If you go into a game and you're like, this love interest is my favorite, and I'm not into this guy, and then that guy that you're not into, there's no spark when you're playing the game, you're like, well, it's because I'm not into them. But if you're like, this is my favorite character, I love them so much, and then there's no spark when you're playing the game, it's a disappointment, you know what I mean? And like, Nicola was one of my favorites. Motherfucker has a sexy hat. Can't help it, I like hats, okay? And I like flair. So like, you know... He's kind of like the Playboy douche, and sometimes I like the Playboy douche, but he's also pretty, you know, but yet spark is fizzled here, which just like makes me sad. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the route, but I just have to keep realizing that, like, there's just something not connecting here for me. It's just sad. The next day, I encountered a still figure in the corridor on my way to the living room. He was standing with slumped shoulders and a pensive look at the small box in his hand. Is something the matter?
No, nothing of the sort. Work is going well and I'm in perfect health. In fact, I've not felt any better, so please do not worry yourself.
May I ask what's in that box? What's in the box? You're welcome. Look, if we have to scream for Emilio every time he shows up like it's Night at the Roxbury, we have to ask, what's in the box? Okay, like we're in 7. It's just, it's the law of any time there is ever a question about what is in the box that you have to say it that way. That was actually one of my favorite things when I was doing Duolingo. That in Japanese, that they taught you how to say what's in the box. And on Wednesdays, we were pink. Like, bravo, Duolingo, for that shit. It just, when you scream it intently in Japanese, doesn't sound the same as when you do it in English. Maybe because I'm not a Japanese speaker, you know? So I feel like if someone was a native Japanese speaker and they did it, it might have the intensity. It just didn't for me when I did it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Random side story.
Nothing of great importance. I suppose it was planned as a gift for someone, but as it so happens...
Bartolo told me that it was a gift intended for Giulia. She had been in such low spirits during Dante's detainment, which was why Bartolo was hoping to cheer up with this. However, they'd both been so busy that he was unable to find an opportunity to give her his gift. Aww! After Dante was released, he realized he had lost his chance. It was certainly a predicament. You didn't lose your chance, Bartolo. Like, I know it was meant to cheer her up while Dante was detained, and now he's no longer detained, but you know what? It's the thought that counts, and even if you give it to her now, like, she'll still, like, think it's adorably sweet, so why don't you go do it? You can still give it to Julia as a gift now. I'm sure it would make her very happy.
No, I could not, and not with such poor timing. I'm also ashamed to say that presenting a token to her such as this would be most unusual. As we are tasked with the duties of housework, I'm afraid a silly ornament would only be in the way.
But you chose it with Julia in mind, didn't you? He's quiet again.
In any case, I cannot give it to her. However, perhaps it would be different if someone else were to deliver it.
I could do it. I was just thinking of going to see her today. Though she occasionally came to Nicholas to help when needed, she was kept very busy at the Falzone Manor.
Very well, but... Signorina, please take care that she does not know who it's from.
Huh? But isn't that...
I cannot ask this favor of you if I cannot be assured of your discretion.
But... This is so fucking weird, I love it. I understand. I promised to keep it secret. With a relieved sigh, Bartolo respectfully entrusted me with the box. We're gonna go and be like, I can't tell you who it's from, but if you guess... I continued on to the living room where Leo was finishing up a report to Nicola. Nicola, If you don't mind, I'd like to visit the Falzone Manor today. I was hoping I might see Julia.
I don't see why not. Oh, I just remembered I have something to take care of.
I see. After the excitement of possibly giving it to her today, I felt my hopes suddenly dashed.
How about I accompany you? I need to head back anyway, so we can go together.
Really?
Yeah, there's some work I need to get done outside the manor, so we won't be able to escort you back there until this evening.
That'd be perfect. I don't mind waiting until you're ready. Then I'll be counting on you, Leo. Take care of her.
All right.
Dante's like, I can go. No, you're not allowed to go back to your own house. Sit down and shut up, old man. Young man. Because Nicola's older than him, so. And now then, Space. I'll do my best to come home early tonight. Forehead kiss. I mean, okay, the spark is there every time he gives me a forehead kiss. It's like, but then it goes away really fast. That's the only thing that's keeping the embers slightly warm over here. It's just sad. To my surprise, Nicola kissed me gently on the lips. Oh! Oh! Okay. I mean, that rain scene, don't get me wrong, that was intense, but it's like, you gotta keep the fires burning, like, more than that. With a playful smile, he departed, leaving me stunned where I stood.
You know, strange as it sounds, seems like Nicola cares more and more about you every day.
I mean, I hope so. I hope he doesn't care less and less about me. I couldn't help but look down at the floor as I blushed. As happy as I was to hear it, meeting Leo's eyes right now would be too embarrassing. I arrived at the Falzone Manor with Leo for the first time in quite a while.
Well, I'll try to get my stuff done as soon as possible. I might be in and out, but please sit back and relax while you wait.
Thank you, Leo. Buongiorno, Julia.
Oh my, if it isn't Space. Welcome. What brings you here today?
I came to give you this, Julia. I presented the small box to her. It's not for me, it's from someone else. That you know. Winks a couple times, but I can't tell you who. She opened it and looked inside.
My, could this be from Bartolo?
I was told to keep the sender's identity a secret, but yes.
I see. Thank you very much for bringing this to me, Space.
She fucking knows, she ain't stupid.
I'll be sure to thank him for it later.
Sounds like a plan. Julia's smile warmed my heart.
Was this the reason you came all this way today?
Yes, but I did want to see you too, Julia.
Why, how sweet. Well, if you have some time, why don't we make something delicious together?
Thank you, Julia. I'd love to, since Bartolo won't let me near a dust rag or a kitchen. Not complaining, but also slightly complaining. Let me just make my own coffee, for fuck's sake. I know how I like it.
And perhaps we can share some with young Dante and young Nicola, if you don't mind.
Of course. I'll save some for Bartolo, too.
Thank you very much.
I gladly accepted Julia's invitation and spent a pleasant afternoon baking with her. It's like, okay, does she, like, live here and then he lives in the Francesca Manor? Because it's like, do they never spend any time together? Like, do they have a house in between the properties? Like, you know? I hope they have a house somewhere where they get to actually see each other and he's not like, nah, she's got a room there and I got a room here. And it's like, but you're married. Actually, I could handle that. I could absolutely handle that relationship as an introvert and, like, just a complete fucking shut-in and mild agoraphobia now at this point, like, after years in captivity. Like, I could handle that. You're like, no, it's cool. So we spend some time together, and then, like, okay, we spent the week, please go away and don't talk to me for a month. Like, I can deal with it. While waiting for the treats to be ready, I stepped out into the garden. The early summer sunlight felt warm on my skin after having been indoors for so long. I feel like we're here and this is going to be a bad thing. I feel like Yang's just coming any second. With my eyes closed, I heard the faint sound of footsteps approaching me. Oh, well, it's Teo. Well, see, I mean, my danger fucking, like, feelers were up, so close enough. The face I saw was entirely unexpected. Teo, why are you here? Teo spoke bitterly, ignoring my question. Nicola Francesca's as lousy as they come. He may carry the blood of the keepers of the grave, but does nothing to honor it as he should. He lacks as much sense as he does humanity. Did he tell you? He offered his own relative as a sacrifice in exchange for Dante's freedom. Huh? Conspired to have Raul Ghirlandaio arrested by the fascist party. Raul's no doubt being tortured now as a criminal, soon to be executed. Did you not understand what I just told you? Why are you not surprised? I am surprised, but I don't trust anything you say. I trust Nicola and his decisions. That hasn't changed one bit. Also, look, if Nicola's like, yeah, no, I did that. I mean, okay, we're dating the mafia. You have to expect this shit's gonna happen. Okay. I know we're a good little church girl, so it's gonna be very hard for her. But in reality, you're dating the mafia. You kind of have to know horrible shit's gonna happen. Just throwing it out there. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but you just have to be prepared for it. But also, right now, you have this twat telling you that Nicola's done some horrible shit, and who are you going to believe? I'm going to believe Nicola until he tells me that he did it, and then I'll figure out how I feel about it. But I'm not going to be like, Nicola, how could you? Because you told me, Teo. I don't trust you. Between the two of you, I trust Nicola more, even if I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, to be dead honest. I mean, I trust him with my life. I don't think he's going to kill me or anything, but, like, would I trust him with someone else's life? God, no. I'm not stupid. Even if it makes him a murderer. I've already known that from the beginning. Well, at least we're smart. I didn't fall in love with him because he was a saint. To hell with love! Teo shouted angrily as he grabbed my wrist. I winced in pain, surprised by the strength of his grip. I told you that what you're feeling is only an illusion. It was his blood that reeled you in. Are you jealous that I'm not in love with you, even though we just met? I'm just really confused as to exactly what role you play here, aside from just being a bitchy little antagonist. I love him for it. He's a really good bitchy little antagonist, but I'm just curious as to what the motivation behind your bitchy antagonism is. You know? Because we don't really know that. The mystery. Do you seriously believe that he loves you? Don't be so blind to reality. I looked Teo in the eye and spoke without fear. You're wrong. I love Nicola and he loves me. I have no doubt about that. But he didn't tell you anything. Not a single word about the Key Maiden or that he framed Raoul. He doesn't have to tell me everything for me to trust him. That has nothing to do with my love for him. I believe in Nicola with all my heart. I was like, wait, what? He was obviously irritated as he abruptly released his grip from my wrist. I mean, loving someone is accepting them with all their faults. We don't fall in love with people because they're perfect, because nobody is perfect. So, you know, this is actually quite lovely. She's like, I know, he does some shady shit. I still love him. Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. And love in this case, I'm just saying. Everything you learn, you could learn from, like, 80s theme songs. Just throwing it out there. There's a lot of education going on. So there's just a lot of references today. Where's Emilio so we can, like, scream that? We've had some lovely, like, 7 references, and now we did the facts of life. I'm just saying, I don't know what's wrong today. Or right. Are you worried about me, Teo? Again, why would he be worried about you? What's the motivation here? I know we're not going to learn it for a while. That's part of the mystery, and I'm okay with that. I'm just pointing it out. I don't understand what you want. It seems you've been watching over me all this time. Which is creepy. As harsh as you were at the church the other day, it felt as though you appeared to inform me about the mission. For my sake. After a momentary silence, he spoke. I don't think he likes us, though. He's kind of made it clear at other ones that he fucking despises us for whatever reason. Are you jealous because you wanted to be the Key Maiden and you can't because you're a dude? Because, I mean, I get that. Yes? I have a younger sister. You reminded me of her, which is why I couldn't just leave you be. Teo's gaze moved down to my wrist. Do you really, though? He saw that he had left a visible mark. Sorry. That must have hurt. No, I'm fine, but... Deeper. Meanwhile story. Nicola. I stepped out of the car in front of the restaurante where we would be meeting. Ristorante. and noticed a familiar shadow in the alley. If he's here, that means... Feeling a foreboding, I walked toward the alley to meet him.
I have information on what you wanted me to investigate.
I quietly took the folded paper from his hand. Uh-oh. No, I'm fine, but... It seemed as though there was something else he wanted to say, but instead he turned around and left. After Leo had finished his work, he took me back to the Francesca Manor just as the sun set. I was really fully expecting, Yang to show up and start stabbing people, because, we're in chapter 5. I think we only have 6 chapters, so, when the hell is that going down? The tension. But Teo is there, and that's also dangerous, so just... I brought the baked goods with me as planned and gave some to Bartolo from Julia. He must have sensed something by it because he began to blush, which was rather cute. That is kind of cute. I feel like there's more of a spark between them. Nicholas should be home any minute now. Space, I need to talk to you. I quickly headed to the door at the sound of my favorite voice. Not my favorite voice, because I definitely don't do him any justice, but... Welcome home, Nicola. I wanted to talk to you, too. I let Nicola inside the room. I'm pleased to say I have some good news for you, but... Why don't you start? Well... Space... He seemed to suddenly notice something. Show me your right hand. I complied, bringing my right hand forward from where I'd been hiding it behind my back. Girl, just put a bracelet on! Or a long sleeve. The mark around my wrist was still there. Who did this to you? Angry face. I was in the garden at the Falzone Manor when Teo appeared. He was able to infiltrate the manor? Wait, you shouldn't be surprised. I can't believe he hurt you like this. So sorry I wasn't there for you. Not your fault, Nicola. Besides, there wasn't a huge fight or anything. I don't think he hurt me on purpose. What do you mean? I explained to Nicola that Teo came because he was worried about my well-being, but I decided to leave out the part he mentioned about Raul Gerlandio. I see. But why would he go to the trouble? He said I reminded him of his younger sister. I don't think he was lying about that. If that's what you say, I'll believe you. You do have a knack for seeing through lies. Really? As I wondered about what he just said, I remembered he had news for me, too. Oh, what was it that you wanted to tell me, Nicola? Warlock was able to obtain some information that I was looking for. I found someone familiar with the lore behind the Key Maiden, so I'll be heading to Rome shortly. Rome? I'll meet them and learn as much as I can. And the timing's perfect since I actually have other business there. I'd love to bring you with me since I don't want to be away from you. But it'll be easier to protect you if you don't remain here for now. If you remain here for now, sorry. It'll be easier to protect you if you remain here for now. Really? It'll be easier to protect me if I'm away from you? I'm guessing because there's just more people here to protect me as opposed to just Nicola. That makes sense. I can increase security without any issue. Nicola's fingertips reached my wrist, touching it gingerly. Does it hurt? Only a little. Maybe you should kiss it. Or kiss me. You know what? My whole body hurts. You should kiss it all. I'm happy that you're safe, but what Teo did is unforgivable. He hurt someone I care about. He made you feel scared. Won't let him get away with it. Nicola, I'm not as compassionate or forgiving as you think. Do you remember when you visited the church with Dante? I didn't say anything at the time because of everything else going on, but I didn't like the idea of you being together. Were you gonna kill Dante? Like, no, I was gonna kill you. I don't like you being near my Dante. You leave him alone, bitch. I never thought he'd be jealous about my being with Dante, but I was strangely touched to hear it. Okay, listen! You being that fucking jealous bastard who's gonna beat anyone up for even looking at me is actually kind of hot. I'm here for it. But not Dante. Leave him alone. Also, not Oliver, but Oliver's still dead in this round. Ugh. It hurts my soul. You do know that I love you, right, Nicola? Space. Even if you're a jealous bastard, But again, that's what we're here for. Nicholas smiled as though admitting defeat, drawing closer to give me a tender kiss. As he wrapped me tightly in his arms, I could feel his heart beating in his chest. Game is really stingy with fucking CGs in this route, is all I'm saying. I feel like we've had like 2. I know we've had more than that, but I'm just like, I'm forgetting them all, and like, I just feel like we're gonna go into Nicholas and be like, there's 3 CGs, and everybody else is like 12, and you're like, the hell? I actually think when we looked in the thing, I think Orlok might have gone the least? I don't remember. It's kind of like, though, they should all be equal. And it shouldn't be like, well, there's 12. There's only 3 CGs, but there's like, 12 versions amongst the 3. But then this other person gets actual 12. Like, no. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's like, well, there's 12 CGs, but this one has 2 variations. Like, that's fine. But it should all be 12 CGs. But anyway. The following evening, Dante, Nicola, and I decided to discuss our next steps. My head fucking hurts. On the top of my goddamn head, I have like a lump. Probably where I smashed it when I fell over and blacked out. But I'm trying to figure out, like, how the hell... Like, it's like, okay. So, like, if you were to side part your hair, because that's where my hair naturally parts, not in the middle. Like, that's where it is. Like, on the top of my head. Like, the top side. You have the total side of your head, and then you have the top of your head. But, like, not the center top. It's, like, the left top. Front. Under my hairline. That makes any sense. You probably know exactly the spot I'm talking about. And I don't know how falling out of my chair would have hit my head there, but that's where I have a lump that hurts. So I'm like, how the hell did I hit that? I'm, like, really curious now. But every time, like, I have an itch and I go to scrub, I'm like, ow! I was like, I have a lump and a bruise. Like, it hurts. Oh, God. Also, I swear to God, the last couple days, it has not been good, because I, like, went to bed last night, and, like, I go to lay down, I'm, like, sitting in bed, playing on my phone, I'm gonna put the phone away, put my drops in, go to lay down, and whoa, the fucking dizziness just from going sitting up to laying down. But then also the same thing happened yesterday morning when I got up. I was like, okay, and I got up out of bed, and I was like, holy shit! I'm fine afterward, it's just that initial fucking disorientation, and I'm like, obviously from hitting my head when I fell, like, I'm fine, don't worry. But, like, you're like, okay, this, like, and I'm, like, looking it up, and it's like, well, after a traumatic brain injury, and I'm like, I don't really think it was that traumatic, but I guess, like, hitting your head at all, even lightly, or not, whatever, is, like, am I mildly concussed, I guess? I don't know. That explains a lot. But, like, good God, just the getting up in the morning, and, like, I'm fine all day, like, walking around, like, okay, cool. Every once in a while, I'm like, a little bit of vertigo going on. For the last couple days, but like, jeez, it's okay. I've learned my lesson. I should have learned it after the first time I fell out of my chair at work, like at my work desk here at home. I wasn't at work, and like, actually like hurt myself. People like, you didn't hit your head. I'm like, nah, I fell on my arm. Right on my arm. Had a huge ass bruise that like to like have a pillow fort basically next to my chair, and now I do. I have pillows and blankets just like piled up, so if I fall again ever, I'm falling into that, so I'll be fine. But I should have learned after that time when I hurt my arm that like, oh, you could have hit your head, that's a good idea, let me throw some pillows down. But I didn't. I had to learn by hitting my head, so we've learned the hard way, and it won't get worse, hopefully. So, but like, good God, this like fucking lump on my head. I'm like, but it's in the weirdest spot. And I'm like, how the hell did I like fall and like hit that part of my head? I don't know. I was like trying to figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand how that worked. So anyway, we'll assign Dante's voice. We'll assign more of our men here for protection. And that way Nicola can focus on what he needs to do while out of town.
Thank you, Dante.
But Rome... I've heard of family associated with the church that's offered their support to the Falzone for generations.
I've heard of a family, sorry.
But as I've never been in contact with them personally, I thought they were no longer around. If I could go see them myself...
It's not in the best interest of the family for both of us to be gone.
There's a lot of work to handle, and we need to rebuild the trust we lost with some of our clients while you were detained by the police. But we also haven't uncovered the truth behind the attack on the Visconti either. And Dante's like, but I want to go. Look, Dante's face is like, but Mom, I want to go too. Why do I have to stay here? Such a little baby sad face. I'm sorry. I know it's Nicola's route, but Look. I think when I looked at the initial... I can't remember. Somebody remind me, because, like, it gets... But, like, okay. It's not linear in my brain. It's all of a sudden like, I love all of them, and I don't remember when it happened. But I'm pretty sure Nicola was one of... Okay, obviously, the Phantom of the Casino was my fucking favorite right off the bat on the cover. I'm like, why can't I date this bitch? And lo and behold, I could. It's not how it's been happening lately with new Otome games that are coming out. It's literally like, I want to date this bitch! And they're like, nah, you can't. Excuse me? Excuse me, ho? Why not? I don't know why. You want to date all the unobtainables. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Nicola was one of my fucking favorites. You know? But, like, Dante just, like, kind of fucking sneaks up on you, doesn't he? I mean, I think playing the game, I loved him before we got to his route. But, like, and it was still like, he's hot. Yeah, okay, you know. I think it was just kind of hard to choose in this one. I kind of love them all. Gil wasn't in the top. I hate to say it. But again, it's because he's got that... There's just something about him. You're like, that's that kind of guy. That guy. And I'm just not usually into that character. They're fun. And they're great. But they're not usually like... They don't sweep me off my feet. But like, Gil definitely comes from fucking behind and like just charms the fuck out of you. And you're like, okay. I love it. So. That I know. That happened. You're in his route and you're like, oh, hi. Okay. Or like, not gonna lie, he was extremely fucking charming in his route in this. And I'm like, listen. So was Oliver. But like, you're like, Gil, I don't know where you came from. And bravo for Gil fans, because like his route in this game was good. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than Nicola's so far. Again, Nicola's plot's great, but the romance just isn't here for me. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I still love you, Nicola. It's just, I just think the writers did you dirty, or I'm just not feeling the connection with it. And that's not saying that the romance is written badly or anything, because there's other people I'm sure have played that and was like, no, I kind of was feeling it the whole time. You know? I feel it every time he gives me a forehead kiss. And then I have little moments. And it's like, no, but like the whole, it's not overall there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, I think it's just a personal problem. It's having a personal problem connecting with you, Nicola, which is just, especially because right now I'm like, no, I just want to pet Dante and make sure he's okay. I mean, to be fair, I was like that with Oliver and both Gil and Warlock's route, so. And if Oliver was alive in this one, I would absolutely be doing the same thing too, so. Dante looked down with frustration, at which Nicola gave a slight chuckle. I know you love his pout. So adorable. And to be honest, I'd rather stay here with Space. But between the two of us, it's far riskier to have you running around away from the rest. I also have some other things to confirm. Understood. When will you be departing? I'm ready to go any time, so the plan's to leave tomorrow morning. Afterward, Nicola and I walked out into the hallway together. I suppose I'll see you soon, Space. Careful. How long will you be gone? Let's see. Assuming things go as planned, I'd say about a week. Oh! There goes your whole route. A week. It felt much longer than it sounded. Seeing that I trailed off, Nicholas softly held my cheek and kissed me. Maybe we should go have some just goodbye time. After pulling away for a brief moment, we kissed again, more deeply this time. Seriously, we get no CGs of this shit. I'll be home soon, so you just stay put, okay? You're my fiancé. I don't want any other man to touch you. As he spoke, he gave my wrist the lightest caress, as though it were a broken object. Yes, I promise. Except for Dante. Maybe Gil. Unfortunately, you don't have to worry about anybody else, because everybody else is dead, so. With that, he slowly brought my wrist to his lips and kissed it with the utmost care. It's funny that Raoul kind of played a minor part in this, and they never showed his sprite at all. You know what I mean? The following day, I found myself staring outside the window, daydreaming about Nicola. Aw, it's kind of cute. He left for Rome this morning after breakfast, and he wouldn't be back here for a week. I'd just grown accustomed to seeing him every day, and because of that, I now felt my loneliness more profoundly. Request. Before I left Berlin, I stopped at a nearby bar to see him. I was like, that's gonna be Gil, come on. Well, one, I'm not because it's a bar, but also, like, who else were you going to stop by and see? Because I doubt it was going to be Orlok. They could have been Orlok, but my brain just went right to Gil. I was like, there's nobody else. There's Orlok, I forgot. We just saw him like 2 seconds ago. I know I'm in no position to ask you for a favor, but... I'm in no position to ask you for a favor. I put you up at my house until you found a place to stay. I'm absolutely in a position to ask you a favor. Stop that. If something happens to the Foul Zone while I'm gone, please help Space and Dante. After a short pause, he laughed. Can't say I care much about the Foul Zone, but Dante and your girl are my friends. I don't consider it a favor to keep an eye on them. Care about, I thought we were all buddies here. But in any case, how can I refuse a request from my dear friend Nicola? Grazie, Gilbert. That's sweet. And also, again, we saved your ass and gave you a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I now felt my loneliness more profoundly. Please watch over Nicola. I quietly said a prayer, hoping for his safety, wishing for everything to go well. I mean, he's not gonna die. It's the good ending. Maybe in the bad one. I spent much of the day in quiet thought, but we're gonna witness that. It's not gonna die off camera. Not like poor fucking Oliver. If we had to witness Oliver die, like, if there was like a whole death scene for that would have made it worse than just Gil being sad and being like, Oliver is coming to the manor for some paperwork. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been so much worse. That was bad enough. Don't do it. And I'm gonna guess there's no way he's alive because we would have known otherwise. They wouldn't set us up like that and then just be like, and then we'll just be, oh no, he's fine. He was at his own house. Never mind. Like, you know what I mean? I just keep hoping. This is like not the priority in this route, but it's mine. Oh god. Dante and Leo were kind enough to ask after me in their concerned way. Is there anything that you need? No, nothing in particular. Are you feeling bored at all? I'm fine. You know, Nicola only left this morning. I'm fine for now. Now? Dante's like, It's like they don't believe me. I don't believe me either. They're like, you didn't come down to lunch. I know, I was pining away in my room, but I'm fine. Dante and Leo exchanged a quiet look. They know me so. I mean, of course I'm worried, but I believe in him. I'm sure he'll call once he arrives safely. Oh, but Dante... Nicola's mainly in Rome to meet someone from the church, right? But the other business he's on, does it have something to do with work? Yes, and the Falzone family has a base of operations in Rome, but the person in charge went missing. A decision needs to be made now whether to keep the place running or dismantle the whole operation. You see, Raoul didn't go missing. He conspired to have Raoul Ghirlandaio arrested by the fascist party. Raoul's no doubt being tortured now as a criminal, soon to be executed. Okay, well, he technically went missing then. I guess he's not dead yet, as far as they know. Missing, air quotes around that. Maybe this is what Teo was referring to. There are many things Nicola kept secret. Still, I wanted to be ready so that he could one day talk to me freely about anything on his mind. I'd accept what he said with composure, and in turn, offer him the support he needed. Later in the evening, Bartolo and I were squared off yet again near the kitchen entrance. May I please go inside for just a moment? I'm afraid I cannot allow that. Please, Bartolo! Absolutely not. Really? I don't see why she can't go in for a bit. Julia! I couldn't tell who was more startled by her appearance, me or Bartolo. The boys called and asked me to come stay here for a while. I look forward to working with you, Bartolo. I have not been told of this. And never mind that. And now about the kitchen. I do understand how you feel.
But refusing to accommodate your master's future wife surely isn't your intention, is it?
Schooled by his wife! I love it.
Young Nicola eats anything that she makes. He won't leave a single morsel on the plate.
That is indeed wonderful to hear, but...
He's even eaten lardo that she's prepared.
Lardo sounds unattractive. Salted or smoked pork back fat. That's why it's called lardo, but it just sounds back fat. It just sounds unappetizing.
The master ate lardo?
I know there are some dishes Nicola doesn't prefer, but there isn't anything that he absolutely can't eat, is there?
You are correct. However, he generally avoids eating anything to which he has the slightest aversion.
As most of us. I'm slightly averse to that, so I prefer not to eat it. I mean, I feel most people.
But he'll eat anything she serves.
That's dangerous. Nicola, that's dangerous. I could poison you and be like, yes, it's rat poison, but I'm serving it to you, therefore you're going to eat it. I mean, I just feel like that's a recipe for disaster. I want to use the kitchen for Nicola's sake. He's not even here! Nicola's even suggested that I learn from Julia any tips at being a good wife that she's able to share.
A good wife? Even in such a case, I simply cannot have the master's wife carrying out any duties under the scope of my responsibility.
Is there no way at all? I just want to make Nicola happy! If I can cook for him, I'll be able to show my support for everything he does.
Your devotion to the master is admirable indeed. And nevertheless...
I'd be so happy to see Nicola enjoy a nice meal. Don't you feel the same way, Bartolo?
Well, yes, but...
Bartolo's internal struggle became more and more apparent until he finally sighed with resignation. I do enjoy this. It's kind of fun.
I will allow it just this once.
Thank you, Bartolo!
I do hope young Nicola returns as soon as possible.
I mean, what's the point of me going in to make something for Nicola when he's gone? This makes no sense. I do too. Until then, please teach me all the recipes you know that Nicola likes.
It'd be my pleasure. Young Nicola's very lucky to be in your thoughts.
No matter how hard I try, I can't seem to stop thinking of him. Which is why I might as well put those feelings to good use and think of him as often as I can.
I'm sure he'd be pleased to hear that.
Do you think? As we walked into the kitchen, I wondered to myself what he might say if he did hear it. We immediately got to work preparing tonight's dinner. It's my first time cooking in this kitchen, and hopefully it wouldn't be the last. Oh, meanwhile, stir autoplay. Autoplay! And the sun was about to set, and the doors to the cathedral would soon close. The tourist had finally gone home, and in their place stood a solitary young man.
Emilio!
Sorry, I'm just so fucking excited that we've now had Emilio in this part. That just ties everything together nicely. This is just beautiful. All the references. I mean, there's always a screaming of Emilio when we get Emilio, but I mean, we just got what's in the box, and then we got the frickin' facts of life. Like, it's just, it wouldn't have been the same if we didn't have Emilio show up in this part as, like, now that we do. My joy is immeasurable.
I have heard of the events that transpired, Nicola Francesca, Keeper of the Grave. My name is Emilio. I have been waiting for this day to arrive.
In that case, I trust it won't be presumptuous to assume you'll be answering my questions. I heard you know the details of our mission. I will answer the questions I can. What is it that you wish to know? Assuming that the legend of the relic and our family's involvement have ever been real, after almost 2,000 years, is there anything left of that old story?
Human doubt very often manifests as disrespect, and nevertheless, I do understand your skepticism. Just as folklore and stories change as they're passed down from generation to generation, so too does the fate that binds you.
If so,
the relic will be unsealed when the Key Maiden and a Keeper of the Grave unite as one. However, the Keeper of the Grave may not be who you imagine.
You're not answering my question. Are you implying that I'm not fit to break the seal? Emilio's like, ah!
How much of a difference in blood is there between you and Dante Falzone? You share the same amount from your grandfather, but what of your fathers? Was there a difference in their blood?
I had hoped it was possible, and that I myself would suffice. The thought rankled me to the point that even I could see my desperation for it.
The Key Maiden is aptly named, being the key when it comes to this pairing.
Not really, I'm actually the lock, but what else?
In other words, she's chosen by the stars to be the Keeper's fated partner. Of course, not anyone can be chosen as hers. The strength of the bloodline is what matters. However, I have a point. I did not answer you clearly, Nicola Francesca. You are indeed fit to be chosen.
I was gonna say, the way Emilio's leading it is like, Nicola's not fit, but I'm like, but in every other route that we've come across, like, he's made it like either one of them. You know what I mean? Not Raoul, but, you know what I mean? I was fit to be chosen. I'd spent my life in contempt of all this talk of fate and religion, but in this moment, his words fill my heart with joy. Emilio, is it only the Falzone blood that draws our family to the Key Maiden, regardless of our own free will? Is that what you believe? Not at all. In fact, I find it hard to believe that God would interfere in such matters. Destinies, missions, so much time is spent attempting to define the unseen, but in the end, it's our choices that shape the future. You may be surprised to know just how frequent the Key Maidens have followed their hearts elsewhere. I believe the answers I've provided were not entirely disappointing to you, but I cannot help but notice you don't appear to be pleased. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't have any proof of what you've told me is true, and not any that I can see anyway. I see. If proof is what you seek, look no further than the Key Maiden's mark. Mark? Are you referring to her birthmark? Indeed. Should the stars determine that she's no longer the key, that mark will slowly fade away. Since that first night we were together, Mark's been much more visible. And now, Nicola, it's my turn to ask you. Have you been told differently about this legend? A man named Teo, claiming to be a priest of the church, had told me that I couldn't unseal the relic. To give him the details, Emilio nodded a few times as though things made sense to him. I see. It seems you were ill-informed. The church is a human entity and thus not as unified as it appears. I do wish to offer further support to your family, but those in opposition have attained great power in these times. I do know that you can trust me. I am the one with the most knowledge of your family's mission. I promise that I only speak truth. You better trust Emilio! We all trust Emilio! Look, I may not be able to trust anybody else, but I trust Emilio. I also trust Oliver. I think I trust Emilio the most, though. I don't think he's ever lied to us or led us astray. He may have hidden things from us because we weren't ready to know yet. I don't know, but, I'm just saying. I appreciate that, Emilio. But what you've said today has admittedly come as a relief. I am pleased to hear it, though I must say, the manner by which Teo acquired knowledge of the Key Maiden is concerning. Very few within the church are told of her existence. She's been a well-kept secret for millennia. Did someone in power have told him? Yes, I believe His Holiness has ordered the retrieval of the relic. He is one of the very few who know of her. However, it is his belief that any of the Keepers of the Grave have a right to break the seal. Of course, the purity of one's blood does have a bearing on the results, however slight. In other words, someone else could have given Teo misguided information that only the Falzone heir can break this seal. Perhaps those here who desire the relic would obtain it by any means, but a lie would only hinder their efforts. However, a delicate silence hung in the air. He made a careful effort to express his next thoughts. As it so happens, there is another who knows the legend, perhaps as well as I. His duty was to oversee those in the shadows of the church. He has regretfully passed on, with his body exhibiting signs of torture. Rosberg. Could he have told Teo what he knows? It is possible, although I imagine he did what he could in order to conceal the truth. He was against the use of the relic for the church's personal gain, and likely sought to obscure it for its own protection. As a result, more than one life can be saved. I'm so happy that we saw Amelia. It was my first time cooking in this kitchen, and hopefully it wouldn't be the last. I kind of forgot what the fuck we were doing. It's kind of disorienting a little when you go to these side stories and when it's one or two lines and you come back, you're fine. But when it's like this, you're getting into this and there's this thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, we're in the kitchen cooking shit. You're like, oh. Just as I was about to climb into bed, I heard a knock at the door.
I'm sorry to bother you so late. A call just come in from Nicola to the boss. I want to talk to him too! I threw on a robe and ran out of the room. Knocks Dante out of the way. Me next! Me next! Me next! I want to talk to Mom! Literally like little kids. In the living room, Dante was already waiting for me with the receiver in hand. Nicola? Hello, Space. Is everything okay? Yes, everyone's been really nice to me. As if they never were before. Good. Well, I'll be calling again. That's it? I know, I'm a little disappointed too. I'm like, hey, it's your beautiful. I returned to my room, still pondering over the abruptness of Nicola's call. I know he's busy, but I was hoping we could talk a while longer. Still, I was glad to have heard his voice at all. But hearing him on the phone just makes me want to see him all the sooner. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't call him like, yeah, hey, how have you been doing? Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't talk for long, but I miss you. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, nothing. It's just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Everyone's been great. Awesome, bye. Okay, bye. I should be grateful that he arrived safely and that there have been no issues. I climbed into bed and laid there quietly. Doubt I'll have a good night's rest. His voice had stoked a flame in my heart, and my desire to see him was becoming unbearable. It had been 2 days since Nicola went to Rome. I happened upon Dante in the hallway. I loved him. Good morning, Dante. Will you be having breakfast?
No, not today. I'll have Leo stay here, so let him know if you need anything.
I will, and stay safe. Dante departed almost as soon as I finished speaking. He'd been a great deal busier at all hours of the day since Nicola left to Rome, often not returning until very late at night. After lunch, I was enjoying a chat with Julia in the living room when...
Hey, Signorina.
Gil! I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, senor, forgive me. I didn't know you were coming. Please have a seat. What can I get for you to drink?
Let's see. How early is too early for booze, do you think? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Gil. Check it down.
Then perhaps some sangria. I happen to have a pitcher ready in the kitchen.
Well, and that'd be just the thing. It's never too early for booze, because you just put champagne and orange juice, call it a mimosa, and there you go. Or vodka in it. Look! Gil! If you put alcohol in your orange juice, champagne, vodka, whatever, therefore it is a breakfast drink. You could also put like Kahlua or Bailey's in your coffee and make it an Irish coffee. Therefore, always timed anything that you know. Coffee is a morning drink. I mean, you can have it in the afternoon too, but I'm just saying most people have coffee in the morning, so you just slip a little shit in there and okay. Sound like an alcoholic, and yet I really don't drink that much, if ever. I had a drink the other day while we were playing, but like, that's like the first drink I've had since Christmas. That was my first drink this year. Huh. Look at that. But like, I mean, you wouldn't know by the counter in my kitchen where there's 2 bottles of tequila, 3 bottles of whiskey, that like, you know, I don't drink a lot, but I don't. I've had that same bottle of whiskey for months. I got one for Christmas, and I'm like, I'm not even done with the first bottle I got freaking like back in October or some shit. No, it was probably back in September. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. Like, anyway. No, it was October. October? I don't even remember. It's been a long time. Anyway, Gil sat down on the sofa opposite me with a grin.
Very well. I'll be back shortly. I'll bring some for you too, Space.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with Gil. I need a drink. I'm just kidding. Love him.
As Julia cheerfully left for the kitchen, I turned back to Gil. What brings you here today? Have you come to see Nicola?
Nah, I heard he's out of town. I just came by to get a good look at your face. And to apologize to you.
Gil's words jogged my memory of the conversation we had not long ago.
Nicola's doing one heck of a job without his boss. Seeing you torn about all this will make him lose the last place that he can feel at ease.
It's all right. You actually gave me a lot to think about, so I appreciate what you said, but also Nicola's not here to see my face and see that I'm sad.
Nah, it's not very gentlemanlike to butt into someone else's relationship like that.
Gil seemed to feel remorseful about it, but shrugged it off with a bitter smile. I was meddling in something that had nothing to do with me. Guess I was curious if you really knew what it meant to be involved with him. I'm friendly with the townsfolk, but even that has its limits. When you're careful not to cross the line, you keep a lot of people shut out. When I first started out, I made friends all over town, and it was their connection to me that killed them when things got rough.
Aww, poor Gil.
It was impressive how the closest to me were killed first. Those who survived avoided me like the plague and left town. All I could do was send some cash to the families who lost one of their own. You see why I have my concerns about you? Different world from your old life. Anytime someone comes after him, they'll be after you first. That's the way it always goes.
I was beginning to feel the weight of the point Gil was trying to make. He wants to make sure that I knew I'd be the first to go if that situation were to arise. I could only tell Gil my honest feelings. Well. Can't deny the possibility that I could be captured, taken hostage, or killed. I understand that, but I'm prepared for anything that might happen. Although I do admit it's a scary thought.
Nicholas killed more people than you can imagine, and that number is only going to go up.
Yes, that's another scary thought. But I still love Nicola regardless. I faced Gil's serious expression without looking away. Finally, he gave a deep sigh.
I knew it. There was nothing for him to worry about. Listen carefully, Signorina. That strength you just showed me is what you need to survive by Nicola's side. But no need to fret. Sure, Nicola will do everything in his power to protect you.
Oh god, he would go absolutely fucking ballistic on someone who hurt me. I'm seriously thinking he's having murder fantasies about Teo for grabbing my wrist. He's like, I will rip him limb from limb slowly. My expression softened at Gil's reassurance. I can't read. Thank you, Gil. I felt relieved to have his support. Oh, meanwhile story. Alright.
Visitation?
Oh, we're going to see someone in jail.
There we go.
I was like, we haven't seen Raul. It's funny that he was in this, but you never saw his sprite or anything. Here we go. Now they give it to us. Well, and at first when it said visitation, it was a prison. I'm like, who is visiting in prison? Then I was wondering, and yeah, here we go. What are you doing here? Is it unusual to visit one's relative while in town? Or were you asking exactly how I got in? Sure that you know I have my ways. Raul, it was very unwise of you to turn on the family. Perhaps we were too lax in allowing you to go through with your schemes. As though you were at all aware. Am I to congratulate you on finding out after the fact? Glare at me all you want, Nicola. Even you can do nothing against me now that I'm here. Raul gave me a smug look. There were many ways to kill someone behind bars. And that he wouldn't know something as that he would not know something as simple as that was evidence of how differently he grew up from the rest of us in the Mafia. You seem to forget that the family's current predicament is owed entirely to your failure in fulfilling the Foul Zone's mission. Rather than blame me, you should look to your own lust as your downfall. Oh, our mission, you say? What a curious word to hear from you, Raul. After all, the only ones in the family who know about it are me and Dante. I wonder who told you such a thing. Thank you for the valuable information, Raul. It was very helpful. Love it. So Teo is connected to Raul, too. Assuming Teo bore some grudge against us, his next step was easy enough to read. That being said, he's shown a surprising amount of concern for space. What is it he's trying to accomplish? I know, right? I'm worried. I want to know, too. I don't know if we'll ever find out. At least in this route, you know what I mean? I felt relieved to have his support. I feel like we're not going to find out until, the finale. You need to stay strong no matter what, because he's such an overarching character, you know what I mean? I needed to be strong enough to stand beside the Falzone family's underboss. Perfect place to end it. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this part up here, and we will do the rest of this next time. So I will see you next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.